Hello everyone, I am Seema, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Kaveri Institute of Technology, Mandya. So today in this session, I am going to explain you about the control statement in Java programming. So the control statement in Java is one of the fundamentals which is required for the Java programming. So this control statements are very much required in order to perform any programming activities in case of a Java. So it is called as a fundamental. It is called as a one of a fundamental which is required for a Java programming, and this control statement will allows the smooth flow of a program, or it allows a smooth execution of a particular program. So in order to perform a smooth flow of a program, we'll go with a control statement in case of a Java, and this Java is called as a fundamental requirements in order to perform any action in a Java programming. This, as the name itself suggests, control statement. These control statements are used to control the flow of a particular program. So as I said, it allows a smooth flow of a program. The name itself suggests control statements. These control statements are used to control the flow of a particular programs. So basically there are four different types of control statements in Java programming, and they are sequence control statements, selection or decision control statement, repetition or loop control statement, and the last one is case control statement. So in the first module, we'll discuss with the two main control statement. That is, one is a if statement and another one is a for loop statement. Where this if statement is a decision making statement, or it is a decision control statement. If statement is called as a decision control statement, or it is called as a selection statement, whereas the for loop statement is called as a loop control statement, or it is also called as a repetition control statement. So basically in this session, in the very first module, we'll discuss with two major control statement. That is a if statement, which is a decision control statement, and a for loop statement, which is a loop control statement. So let's discuss with both if statement and loop statement by taking a simple examples. So if statement, it's a decision making statement. As I said, a if statement is a decision control statement or a decision making statement. It is very much similar to the if statements in other programming languages like C, C++, and C#. So the simplest form or the syntax of this if statement is, if the given condition, then the statement. If the given condition is true, then it will evaluate with the condition. So if the given condition is true, then the statement will get executed. So here the condition is Boolean expression. So if the condition is true, then the particular statement is executed. Whereas if the condition is false, then the statement will not executed. The condition will terminate, or the statement is bypassed. So all the thing in case of a if statement will totally depends on a condition. It depends on a condition which is given. If the given condition is true, then this statement is getting executed. If it is false, the condition is gets terminated. The if statement will get terminated. So let's see an example of an if statement. So this is an example program of a if statement. So basically, unlike the simple Java program, in this program also we have a differentiation. That is, we have here we have a multi-line comment. We will go with a multi-line comment. Here we have a multi-line comment in order to give a description about a particular program. Here they says that demonstrates the if, call this file if simple.java. Here I'm going to give a program called if sample.java in order to demonstrate how the if control statement eventually works. So here I'll create a class called if sample. So in this scenario, in this program, I'm going to create a class called if sample. Then I'm going to declare two different variables, that is x and y. Then I'm going to assign a values for two different variables, that is for x as well as y. I'm going to initialize the value 10 for x and value 20 for y. So how it eventually works is it will check with different print statements. So here in this program, I eventually declare two variables, one is x and y, and also we assign the values for both x and y variables. That is, x is assigned with the 10 and y is assigned with 20. So once we run this program, so on executing this line, it will check the condition that if x is less than y, that is, it states that if it checks the if condition, that is if x is less than y, which means that the values which is assigned for x is 10. So it eventually checks that whether 10 is less than 20. So if this condition is true, then it will go and print that the output will be like, so it will print the output like x is less than y. Since the value of x is less than y, it will print the statement that x is less than y. So on executing this if statement, it will print that x is less than y. Since the value of x is 10 and the value of y is 20, so x is eventually less than 20. So it prints that x is less than 20. So once executing this, it will move on to the next condition, that is, in this statement, it will assign the value of x with different values. That is, the value of x is changes with the multiple of 2. Here the value of x is assigned with the initial value of x along with its multiplication of 2. So now the value of x will becomes 10 into 2, which is equals to 20. So now the value of x is 20, and so we know that the value of y is equals to 20. So we'll get this value by using this operation. By performing this operation, we'll get the value of x as 20. So by performing this operation, we'll get the value of x as 20. So on executing this statement, this if statement, we're gonna print that x now equal to y. Since now we'll have the value of x is equals to 20. Now we have the value of x is 20 and the value of y is also 20. So on executing this statement, on executing this if condition, that is if x equals to y, then we need to print x now equal to y. So the output will become, x now equal to y. So this is the output on generating with the if, on checking with the if condition and generating the given printf statements. So next, by moving on to the next statement, that is the value of x is again assigned with the value of x into multiplication of 2. So again the value of x is changes with, so now the value of x is again changes with x into 2. That is, now the first, initially we have the value of x as 20. Now it becomes 20 into 2. So the value of x now is 40. And initially we have the value of y as 20. So now the value of x is greater than value of y. So by checking with this if statement, that is if x is greater than y, then we need to print x now greater than y. So on executing this statement, we'll print that now since x is equals to 40 and y is equals to 20, on executing the if statement, that is x is eventually greater than y, the output will become x now greater than y, x now greater than y. So since x is not equals to y, this won't display anything. Since the value of x is 40 and the value of y is 20, they both are not one and the same. They are not equal since x and y have two different values. Hence, this doesn't write anything. Then it comes out of the main. It comes out of the class. So the output will generates with the different statement. That is x is less than y and x is now equal to y and x is greater than y. So on executing this program, we'll get a three different output based on a three different if condition. So based on the if condition, we'll determine the output. So based on the if condition, we'll get the output. So this is how the if statement or if control statement works in case of a Java programming. So this if statement will works unlike the if statement in all the C++, either in a C, C++, and C sharp. So this C program, this if statement will eventually works similar to the if statement in all the programming languages. So next we have a for loop. So this as the name itself suggests, loop. So this is one of a loop control statement or a repetition statement. So thus, Java supplies a powerful assortment of loop constructs. So this loop constructs will helps to decide how many times a particular statement to be executed. So by using this loop control statement, it will tells that or it will decide how many times a statement to be executed, how many times a statement to be executed. So by using this loop statement, we'll get to know how many number of times a particular statement to be executed. So this is the more versatile for loops. So for loop is a more predominant or the more versatile. So the syntax or the simple form of a for loop is for initialization, condition, and iteration, statement initialization, condition, iteration, statement. So the initialization process of a loop sets a loop control variable to an initial value. So by using this initialization, we're going to initialize the value for a particular variable. So by using this initialization, we're going to initialize a value for a particular variable in case of a loop control statement. So the loop will eventually set a value for a particular variable in case of a for loop statements. So next we have a condition. So this condition is a Boolean expression that tests the loop control statements. So if the outcomes, the Boolean expression or the condition of a Boolean expression, as we know that either it is a true or it is a false. Either it is a true or it is a false. So the Boolean condition, the two different Boolean conditions are true and false. So by using these two different Boolean conditions, we're going to evaluate the loop statements. So if the outcomes of the test is true, the for loop continues. If it is false, the loop terminates. So if the given condition is true, then the for loop will continues its iteration until it reaches the false condition. So if it is false, the loop will terminate or the loop will ends. So next we have an iteration statement. So this iteration will determine how many number of iterations the loop will eventually changes. So this loop expression will determine how the loop control variable will changes each and every times that the loop will iterate. So on iterating each and every times, how the loop control variable will eventually changes will actually determined by this iteration statement. So let's take an example and see how this for loop will eventually works. So this is a simple example in order to understand about a for loop statement. So here, unlike all the other programming, here also we have a comment line. That is, in this program, we have a multi-line comment. So here we have a multi-line comment. Here we have a multi-line comment. So there are three different comment line. One is a multi-line, single line, and another one is a documentation comment. So here in this program, we have a multi-line comments. So then we have a class by name of for test. So here I'm going to declare a variable called x of type integer. So here I'm using a for loop statements by using a initialization, condition, and the iteration. So the in case of initialization, I'm going to initialize the value of x to 0. Firstly, I'm going to initialize the value of x to 0. Then I need to check the condition that whether the given x value is less than 10. So I need to check with the condition that whether the 10 is less than 10, whether 0 is less than 10. So if it is true, then I'm going to change with the iteration condition. Then so it will become x is equals to 0 plus 1. So x is equals to 0 plus 1. So here the value of x is 1 now. So once the given condition is true, it will iterate back. So let's see how the actual of the program will works with this for loop statements. So in this example, we'll have a x variable which is of integer data types is a loop control variable. Now here I'm going to initialize the x with 0 in the initialization process. This is the initialization portion of a for loop. So I'm going to initialize the value of x to 0. So at the start of each iteration, the condition of x will test whether the given value is less than 10 or it is greater than 10. So it will perform with these condition. It will checks with these condition. So if the output will becomes true, if the output is true, on executing this statement, if we'll get the statement is true, then it will print the x value. So as this, once I execute this, I'll going to check that x is equals to 0 now. So then I'll going to check that whether x is less than 10. So now the statement is true. Now the given condition is true. So I need to print the statement as this is x. So I need to print the value of x. So by using this, I need to print the value of x. Now the value of x is 0. So on executing this statement, once I'll print the given output, then I move to the iteration statement. So I need to iterate, or I need to determine the next value. So by using this iteration statement, I need to change by using this, I need to increment, or I need to change the value of x. So by using this, now the value of x will become, so initially the value of x is 0. So on printing the statement, the value of x is equals to 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1. So the value of x is 1 now. So this value of 1 is again tested. So here it will again go with the for loop. That is, it will check that now the value of x is 1, and it will check with the condition that whether 1 is less than 10. Since the given condition is true, it will write the print statement as this is x with the value of 1. So on executing this, again it will check with the increment purpose. So the value of x is 1. Again, it will changes with x is equals to 1. X is equals to 1 plus 1. Now the value of x is 2. So again, it will checks with x is equals to 2 now. So it will checks with a given condition whether 2 is less than 10. Since the statement is true, it will print the print statement that now the x is 2. And again, it will go with increment statement. So until and unless this statement will provide a Boolean condition that it is false. So it will until and unless it will provide a false condition, this statement will eventually execute. So on reaching this, if the value of x is 10, so on evaluating this, once I reach this point, once I get the point hash, so now x is equals to 10, x is equals to 10. So since I'm going to check with whether 10 is less than 10. So if it is false, then I'm going to come out of a particular for loop. So on until and unless I'll reach this point, so it returns a false condition. So until and unless I'll return this statements, until and unless I'll obtain this statement, it eventually looping back each and every value of x. It will eventually iterate each and every statement by using this loop control statements. So the output of this program is, this is x, that is 0 on executing 0. So likewise, it will obtain for x is equals x for 1, and likewise for x till 9. So the statement will get false at the point of x is equals to 10. So it will returns the value of till x is equals to 9. So this is how the for loop will works in case of a control statements of Java programming. So thank you all.